welcome back to the PPC Community Broadcast. I'm your boy Merlo, and with me, your other boy, Kresnik TV, the best caster, the best tech caster in the world. Last time you saw me, you liked the excitement, but also you liked Kresnik better. So, yeah, take it away, man.
That's a bold claim, Merlot. I don't know how I can follow up on that.
It's a
There's a lot
statement.
of
That's a
there's a lot of
fact.
people. It's a statement. True or not is definitely up for debate. But we truly are in for some good games today. Looking at what we have lined up ahead of us, Merlot, Chroma, Celestial. I want to see these teams go against each other because Chroma, I feel like, has kind of been struggling as they go further through the week. So it's just weird because I feel like they have a decent amount of talent in their roster, but it's just not really coming to fruition the way that I feel like it should be for that roster. But Celestial, this team that they've just been picking it up over the time. I think that they made one shift as the season was going on, and now they're maybe understanding the meta a little better, playing a little better, focusing a little bit more on slops. Champion pool to push them forward, but Celestial has been looking, I think, a lot better recently than they have at the start of the phase.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to see a pretty close game because, onto the skill level, they're pretty similar. Of course, Chroma Space didn't have enough, quote unquote, space to actually perform as well as they
I see
do.
what you
But
did.
yeah, those games they were very close. The draft system in place is pretty much precise to the teeth and point. So they understand the meta and they want to apply it. I think it's just a matter of having a little bit of a problem with maps, and especially
Mhm.
map bans, etc. So it comes down to the wire to see maybe today a little bit of a difference, a little bit of a push up from them. So I really hope Chroma Space, they get back into the game. They try to reach a little bit for those points and maybe get into a third or two second position maybe in the next upcoming weeks. I do so hope for them.
Yeah, they definitely want to fight their way up there. And you mentioned the map bans, and I can bring us back around to that maybe to talk about what teams banned what map. Celestial, they're the team that lost the coin flip in week 3, so they will be the ones who get to choose the first bans and of course the map that we get to play for game number 1 here. Frog Isle was their first ban, followed by Warder's Gate, and ChromaSpace responded with 2 maps that I feel like you don't like to see, so I think you'll be happy about this. Bazaar and Shattered Desert were banned by Chroma Space. So the wide maps where there's a lot of things going on out of the picture. And Celestial, they're taking it right to Chroma. They're picking Bright Marsh. They're picking a map, that's flat. It has but it has some use of high ground. It has some buildings, so you can play kind of a little bit of everything here. It is, of course, that I always got to make the joke. It's the classic Russian map. Don't take the Russians to Bright Marsh, but Celestial, they're willing to do it.
They want to do that. Probably they feel very confident about this map in particular. But as you said before, it's not that I don't like Bazaar or Shattered. It's just that basically they're super weird in a way. So,
Yeah.
for example, on Bazaar, basically you can run around across the point and just run in circles with Rom or with the Nara and try to set up that defense. So it's really hard to pull off because you have so many walls. And on Shadow Desert is just like huge and very, very large, so you tend to lose focus a little bit as a caster, but also as a hit scan. But yeah, I think we're ready for picks and bans, and we're ready to see what's going to happen onto this Bright Marsh. As we said times and times again, it's a very box-like map onto the first half,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, you need to do the push, onto the last stretch. You basically have a full-on respawn plus high ground against you. So it's gonna be a little bit hard if the hits can, they manage to shut you down or trap you inside a building. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And the first ban is gonna be Ruckus. We saw time and time again very effective into trading those kills 1 versus 1 or going in full kamikaze, trying to snipe the enemy's support. Druxus is going to be the next. Then Corvus and Victor. Think we're pretty much set up for Ash, Inara, Terminus, all those kinds of pick. So what's going to be the first one? It's going to be Genos as a support. Pretty, classic, nice choice right there. It's going to be useful. And what's going to happen onto the other side? I wonder.
Yeah,
Let me
I
put.
like the. I will say I like the Genos first pick. I think with Corvus taken, I think it's a good idea to kind of deny that secondary pocket. But they have sacrificed another potential backline with Victor being banned by Chroma Space. Celestial give up that Vivian. They have to now play into that. We're assuming it's going to be Nepo on the Vivian, someone who's been pretty comfortable with that. So Celestial, I hope they have a plan in place specifically for dealing with this Vivian on this map, where she can be so powerful, and it looks like that'll be the Eevee. So we know Eevee can get aggressive onto the Vivian. She can shoot under the Vivian's shield to get some damage through in a way that normally maybe can't make it through. So definitely an option they've left open for themselves, but it is kind of tough to execute, and they're going to need a team that can really collapse when that Eevee's willing to go in.
Indeed, and as we saw, before, of course you have Hebe. She can blink around. She's very agile and very hard to hit. And especially in Bright Marsh, you have so many possibilities to just go in and out of the fight. And Maldamba is going to get picked off as a support. Maldamba, another great choice right here with Meave. And Meave, of course, when you pick her, you have to counteract with Cassie. As soon as you have that midnight, you're going to pop your ultimate with Cassie to try to deal with the pressure. And Koga is going to be the last pick. That's the second time we're seeing him as we cast together on Bright Marsh. I wonder what he's going to do. And Charlene is going to be the last pick. Exceptional. I think Crippling Blow, once again, is going to be useful and very huge to actually counteract against those mobile flanks. Because you get a cripple in, you get all your focus DPS onto that particular enemy, and you basically get the kill. But what do you think about these two compositions? What are your thoughts right now?
I like that they have the Genos Inara solo tank paired with a triple DPS. I also think the double flanker can help into the comp that they're playing against. I will say right now, I'm going to be concerned even preemptively about this Atlas, because I feel like 90% of the time these solo tank Atlases end up running big wall, which I really think is not worthwhile when you're playing solo tank Atlas. You need more ways to sustain yourself and bring yourself through the fights. But either way, we can hop into the game really quick and take a look at exactly how they're going to be planning these things out. We take a look at the talents, and yeah, Coriol's got Temporal Divide. I really don't like the lack of sustain you get when you play that solo. You don't have anyone to fall back on for the 20 seconds that you're waiting for it, but I think their DPSs have solid matchups otherwise. I think Maeve trades well into Koga. I think Ovim on this Shaolin can also trade fairly well into this Koga when you can get that little bit of the cripple onto the Koga, plus that 1300 burst that comes with it. He's going to be potentially very easy to burn down if Slop's not playing careful enough.
Indeed, and as I said before, Atlas is solo as a tank. You need to get those kills and you need to get them past. But let's see what's going to happen in the first blood. Will determine and decide what's going to happen on both sides. And there you go. Inara takes the first one onto the point right now, onto the other side. Eve trying to chase down this Eevee. They're trading blows back and forth. But of course, Gogan's going to finish up the cleanup crew. And yeah, they got the point. And I don't think they're capable to actually take it back.
Yeah, without Atlas, maybe they could have, but they have to go through Slop on Koga, which is going to be very difficult. Everyone's still kind of pinned into this apartment building over here. Even with that one kill, they can't make it. The Void Grip stops them on the way in with that big wall up. Maybe they buy a second of reprieve, and Neva will help them clean up this fight. Maybe 2-2 might get away, but they're going to be looking to chase.
Super huge right there, and they're continuing to get those kills right now. It's a little bit too late. Of course, we are onto the defensive side. We're going to see what's going to happen to this payload, because as soon as you get one single kill, you're able to push and, gain a little bit of tempo onto your side. But right now, that does not seem to be the case. They're having lots of trouble to get in, actually push this payload, or for that matter, get a kill.
Yeah, finally able to break through. They are right now with Slop. Getting the first kill here for the trade out. Coriol's kind of isolated though. We'll see how much he can do. Finds Toot, but needs to get more.
And there you go with Cassie right now. Oh, Atlas just got sniping inside the building. On the other side, you have Heat trying to do a little bit of damage against the Vivian. That's a nice kill right there. And as you said before, you have that blast shot that basically can deal, with the shield, with the damage. You can move around pretty quickly. And that shows, because right now, that's not a kill against the Move. They are just pushing harder and harder.
Yeah, getting aggressive at, I think, the right time now. Chroma really can't drop down until they get everybody there, considering the whole point of the Atlas is to kind of enable the DPS with the big shield that comes in here. But Celestial might have misstepped a little bit. They're quite forward. They're getting split by this shield. Barely escaping, are they? But they lose the first pick here, and Adium wants more.
Indeed, they're also losing a little bit of focus, because right now they're not capable to actually shut this Atlas down. And they're going to lose lots of time, but they have the resources for the next matchup, for the next round. So they're able to use them. They just need to not, waste them onto a dangerous push. right now, I think they just decided on 40 seconds to go to basically get as much credits as possible, get those kills. And as you can see right now, Koga used their ultimate. They got a little bit of a kill. That goes the second one. That goes to the third one. They still have everything under their control. They can use those ultimates. This is going to be a little bit of a pickle, a little bit of a trouble as the support is going down. And they have free push for the next 14 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one for them to contest, really, especially with Coriel taking all that early poke damage. Look where he has to use that shield, and only Adium can contest this with Coriel replacing after, but second chance pulls him away. Atlas just can't sustain in Celestial. They'll be able to walk it in because of that. I think that could have gone the other way, but Coriel just had to be a little bit more careful. He took so much damage before that fight really actually had to break out, so he ends up needing to rewind really early after Adium nobly throws himself onto the objective to buy his team a little bit more time, making things significantly harder for his team. That's on Otev, though, I think, on this Eevee. The fact that he was hitting those medium-range shots onto Coriel when he was sitting in the spawn door, constantly connecting them, and also finding pressure, other than that, of course, being second in the damage charts, he really opened the door and put way more pressure on the Atlas than he was intending to have.
But then again, it's a solo tank, so as you said before, it's gonna be super hard for him, to keep the pressure. And when you have the entire focused enemy team on you, you're bound to die sooner or later. And that just happened. He was the first one to go, and everybody crumbled after that. As we can see right now, we get a second kill coming from Koga. They're trading blows left and right. We're going to see Eevee actually takes a kill, and there's a little bit of a play right here. Watch out for the chase. If she brings up into the air, she's going to be ready for this leave. Another one, we see the kill from Genos, and they're trying to go back and forth, but the Vivian right now, she's unleashing her power. Her true DPS hits can meta. But yeah, the point is, getting away is slippery. You don't have anything to actually contest right now. It's going to be a clean 3-0 right now.
Yeah, with that wall there at the end, too, really seals it. Plus, that seismic crash, which got eaten by the wall, but it literally didn't end up changing anything as they tried to get aggressive. Coriel kind of caught out and has to use that second chance early.
Indeed, and as we said before, it's going to be huge because right now they can basically focus him hard, take that first kill, and they're going to unlock the payload, and they're going to push times and times again. Vivian is going to be the second one to go, and yeah, you basically have so much time, so much tempo, and 2 minutes is plenty time to spare to actually get a nice push around the block, and it's going to be down to the last stretch, probably at the minute of 30.
Yeah, they have some time to move this 2 whole minutes with the cart getting close. Maybe they can engage with that wall, but brutal knock-up and lockdown from that, and Slop wants to pounce.
Oh, look at the verticality on that Koga right now. He's basically using the full map at his advantage. Eevee gets another kill. Oh, that's a triple kill for her. That's going to be huge, and there you go. Once again, Atlas is going down, and this solo build tank is not going to work it. It's not going to cut it, because right now, they're down to their last push. In 1 minute and 25 seconds, that's huge. That's plenty of time to set up kills, regroup, try to use a couple of ultimates to actually get that kill, and they're going to push hard, and they're going to push fast. The wall is going to go down right now from Atlas. It's just has a rewind right now. Try to counteract Cassie. Just push a kill right now, and onto the other side, even Vivian. But they're pushing hard. Oh, that's too unfortunate from Mozamba. Trying to use a little bit of a fear against the enemy team. Didn't work out at all.
I think it was decent. It forced them away.
Indeed, but they got so much time right now. 45 seconds to go, and the kills are coming right now. He's doing mad, crazy damage onto that backline. Koga will be able to actually jump onto them if he's willing to connect. And right now, they're full-on DPS guns on Atlas, and they took that victory.
Yeah, well, big turnaround there in the end. I can't believe they even delayed long enough for Coriel to get that second life. He actually, I'm shocked he was able to even make it all the way back around to refight there, but it ended up not really mattering. They had a lot of damage to go into him. They hit him with that Cyclone Strike when he came out of the second chance, had extra damage there near the end, and just, again, the tank battle was tough, but I actually feel like Coriel performed quite well for that, honestly, and I think the stats will probably agree with me as I take a look at this. I mean, he actually only had, what, 107 less damage than Adium? Actually, more than that. It was only 90-something between them. He even outdamaged his Shaolin, so he was one of the higher damage dealers. Just Really hard for him to play with that. Again, the big shield was what I was worried about with him kind of falling, but he still cleaned up on a lot of the kills, just as Otev did on the other side for Celestial.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that sometimes because, as you said before, right now it's not that he didn't perform well. He did what he could, into that clutch, into
Mm-hmm.
that situation. But the problem is, again, when you go back, you're full health, awesome, but you're gonna get focused. You're gonna get killed many times and times again. And they didn't have like a super organized strategy against Celestial and that Evie. Like she was just jumping around undisturbed. They had like a full on flank onto the back line, and they didn't have the tools to deal with her.
Yeah, no real way to stop that EV at all. I mean, they didn't really have great ways to duel them anyway. It kind of comes down to maybe Adium takes that 1v1, but when you break it down, right, he'll go for the fight, but there's always someone else there. Slop is pushing with him, Closar was pushing with him, Toot Toot's always being really aggressive. They never took a fair fight, which normally leans, I think, a little bit more towards the Maeve when the shots connect, just a little bit easier for Maeve to find them. But again, if they don't hand them that fight, then you don't get that advantage that you'd get from that matchup.
Exactly. I don't know. It's a little bit unfortunate because it was a very super clean 4-0 right there. And basically, it seemed so easy to pull off. You just kill the Atlas, you just push and move along with the payload, and onto the other side, you basically have flankers doing all the hard lifting. So yeah, as I said times and times again, if you want to play solo Atlas, you need to take those kills. You need to be the first one to
Mm-hmm.
engage, and you need to act instead of counteract. You need to really push it through as much as you can, even if you have to be crazy aggressive. You take those kills and you go
Yeah.
back onto the point, and then you hold it down.
Yeah, I also think that you might be willing to play the Atlas more like in situations where you have a counter pick. Like you can kind of play Deja Vu Atlas into Nando and splash around his shield to knock it down. You can also play Atlas into if you have a Terminus matchup. You can then, rewind him from his reanimate, not the whole game. Once Resilience 3 is online, that interaction goes more in the Terminus's favor, but you can still get a little bit of an advantage there. And ChromaSpace are hoping to get any advantage they can. Jaguar Falls is the map they want to go to. So interesting for me because they kind of just got destroyed 4-0, I would say. I mean, they had some life in the fights, but they were getting crushed pretty hard when push came to shove. And they want to go
Yeah.
to they want to go to the same style of map again.
That's true. That's true. But also, you have so many possibilities, to play around it because you have environmental kills. That also happens on Broadmarsh, but not that often. So
Mm-hmm.
if you take, as we said before, if you take an Ash, if you take a Con, if you do all that kinds of things, you can basically trade in kills time and time again,
Mm-hmm.
and go for a clean, maybe 3-on-3 points matchup, and just basically use everything you got with resources and ultimates onto the last point. That can happen. We're just gonna see what's the full on bans and pick meta right now between these two teams. And Corvus goes down, Janus goes down. That means that Moldamba is a pretty good pick right now to choose from for Chroma Space. They're gonna go with Denara, so they don't care about healing because they can always go with the Ying in at a second time. Onto the side, Ruckus is going to get banned, and Droxus, they're going to pick Victor up pretty good right now in Juggle Falls.
Yeah, I would agree. Again, I tend to lean the other way. Like, I'd prefer the Vivian on Jag a lot of the time, but I understand why some teams really just value the raw damage a little bit more sometimes for this map. But they get the Ashe, they get the other side of arguably the best tank duo right now, as in terms of being a little bit harder to counter. And ChromaSpace get the Grover. Grover, I feel like, is a little bit undervalued in some of the regions outside of North America. I feel like North America values about where he should be. Being able to heal the whole team all the time, having a reset on his heals if you're skillful and hit your crippling axe, and his ultimate keeps people alive through a lot of damage. And no, it doesn't matter if they have a console hit scan or not. If you are healing them through a wall, you're probably going to keep them alive through the onslaught.
Indeed, as I said before, like I was wondering and pointing towards Ying because she's basically a heal bot after this point. But as I said before, that crippling blow is going to be key inside those team fights because right now you can basically focus down everybody. You can take Moldamba, you can go against Victor. He has no
Mm-hmm.
way to escape. And Evie, yeah, she's going to have a pretty bad time against Chroma Space right now, but this is the same Eevee as we saw in Bright Marsh, so something is gonna change. And the fact that they picked Grover with that huge, crippling counter and basically those deep roots, you have Rome available to just go back and forth inside the point. So it's going to be huge for them. And I wonder what's going to happen inside this particular matchup. It's going to be super interesting and maybe a little bit more, well balanced, more balanced at least than the game before. Pip is going to be the last one, but Pip, like, he's huge in Jaguar Falls, as we saw last week.
Yeah, he can perform, I think, excellently on Jaguar Falls, so not a bad pick. I don't know how I feel about it with the Maldamba. I feel like maybe their composition is a little bit crowd control heavy. Now with the Ashes ultimate, with all of Damba's utility outside of healing being crowd control, and Pip, who has, the big slow that gives him bonus damage, he has one of the best crowd control ultimates in the game, but this is just giving resilience kind of almost omega value right now from the other side, so they're going to have to hopefully win the game early for Celestial's sake, because I feel like Chroma have a draft that scales a little bit better. Maybe it handles Cauterize a little bit worse, having the Grover, having the Inara, having the Rom, who I think is the worst victim of it. Both teams want to end this game early, so to me, whatever team wins those first mids is the team I'm going to be giving my edge to.
Okay, so we're ready in a couple of seconds to go into the game. And yeah, here we go. What do you think about this pick? So, it's a little bit of an unusual pick. We don't see him very often. But as you said before, he's huge in Jaguar Force with that ultimate. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, expand a little bit on that.
He has the kind of micro verticality, just like the short little jumps that get him on top of areas on the map. He can also heal through walls, which is one of the most, I think, impactful things on Jaguar Falls in general, being able to not have to use line of sight. And his AoE is pretty big on his primary fire. You can use that to splash people around corners. You can use your ultimate to just execute someone when they're isolated from their team. He just brings a little bit of everything and can use the geometry of the map to its fullest.
Indeed, and let's find out with the first squad what's going to happen right now. Pip going on some backside, flank on those tools at his disposal, and it's going to take, huge chunks of health from Grover and the others. Now, really alone by herself is going to die pretty easily. This Pip's doing magic already. He's feeling the sustain is crazy onto Celestial Esports side, and right now they're going to go for the second and the first kill and ready to go and bounce onto the midpoint, which was not contested at all. Like, they didn't have the chance to actually cap those points. And right now, with the Eevee, they can shut those mounts pretty easily.
I think Coriel made the right choice, though. Even though they didn't win the first fight, him rotating over to the objective to contest it, get that little bit of last cap, I think, was smart. But Chroma, tough push for them to get back in. They have to go through a lot of poke damage, and Coriel, he's not going to be the one to do it because he's looking for Toot instead.
Watch out for Ashes. She's going to be the next one to drop, and it's going to be 90%. There's no way they actually can jump over the point. Inara is going to lose this trick right now. It's going to be huge for them. 22 minutes to go. A lot of damage to spare from Victor and the others. But yeah, right now it's going to be all inconsequential.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the kill Ash, lose point trade here, but maybe they'll be able to get some more with where Closar is playing. But look at that aiming. Finally, Nepo takes him down, but the rest of the team's there to peel for him.
Indeed, right now they're not moving as much. They're trying to do as much as they can. Inara almost onto the ledge right there. Rom is going to try to go and support this Cassie. They're trying to snipe as much as possible. Not onto the other side. That Eevee, that uncontested Eevee just bouncing, jumping, doing so much damage, so much control right there. It's impossible to counteract right now.
Yeah, Eevee on Jag, not really the first matchup you think, but clearly Otev is comfortable with it and putting on so much pressure to this team. He's blinking over them, constantly hitting those medium range shots and following up on all the damage that Closar is doing. A lot of AoE though, so blast shields will hurt them, but they don't have to worry about that this early in the game with all their blast damagers stacked up in one shot. They might just trade out with Coriel immediately.
Indeed, and as you can see before your eyes, right now they're all backed up into that spawn. They still have plenty of resources, but you don't want to waste them onto the first round. And onto the other side, we just saw Zen actually using the ultimate, and the others trying to get those kills and waste resources that you desperately need onto the next contested point. But right now, Rom actually taking that pip in with Zen. Gonna be huge for them, and they're gonna spread them out, let them wait. Because 50 seconds is not that much onto the last stretch of Jaguar Falls. They need a lot of time. the other side. We see the backline having a little bit of a problem. Victor tried to be sneaky, but was not successful.
He did still pull them back. They just have to now not fight so aggressively because they know they're taking a 5 versus 4. But Toot Toot, I think, is playing it smart. They're poking slow. They're getting damage on the people that need it. And they even force out the Whirlwind from Sensovsky to save Adium. With them kind of reeling, they'll get their respawns and be able to move. It's all I think about what these DPS can collapse on at the same time. But Adium wants to strike first.
Watch out for the pip because he still has the ultimate. Victor actually did a kill. They're basically using everything right now in their disposal to, push as much as they can. They took the kills, but the tank is still up. Now the Paladins kicking, and on to the other side, Ash is going to be completely alone. We're seeing right now Evie trying to do as much damage as possible. Realm is going to be probably the next one to go. He's able to escape, but look there, the chase is going to go on and on and on, and Realm super lost time right there because the timer is going to be huge onto the respawn, and they have no way to counteract it, and apart from Inara.
Yeah, she buys a little bit of time on the point, but Celestial, they're all still alive. They're all still contesting this, and Nepo wants to find something here, but he keeps getting caught out by everyone, and they just walk it in. Coriel's not ready.
My God, as I said before, they basically collapsed onto the solo tank because Rom, by trying to escape, he lost so much time, so much timer onto the respawn, and it shows.
Yeah, for sure. The fact with how smart they're able to kind of time that out. Coriel, small misstep when he ran into the back. We saw how the respawn timer kind of ended up making that almost impossible for them to contest. Maybe Coriel was just looking to get his reset to run back in from behind, but the mobility from that Eevee really opened the door and let them kind of chase him down and deny that completely. I mentioned that resilience I thought would be a really important buy, but Nepo doesn't even care. Nepo's not even a thought in his mind so far. Okay, never mind. All right, he finally got it.
Right now.
Never mind. Completely destroyed. Caster Curse, he picks it up. Better for him, a little worse for me, but he'll be happier looking down the CC of the other side as the fight breaks out near Jack.
Indeed, right now he has the advantage with the point of vision, but Rom is going to be completely alone, and there's no way Zin can intervene right now. He still has the ultimate, so Tool is there trying to get into the fight, but the ultimate gets popped off, but there's not a lot of kills going on. Actually, onto the other side, Selestial having a little bit of a problem against Chroma Space right now. Evie is going to try to go against the Zin. She backs off, and the point is going to be captured. We are in 40%, but they need to act fast. They need to act very
Double comeback's gonna make this really, really difficult for them, I think, to get in. It's gonna have to be Ash, but she doesn't have ult quite yet, and they're spending the seismic crash to stop the push at all.
Indeed, Zin is going to take another kill against the Victor. They definitely have no damage. The wall is going to steal off the Ash. There's no way she's getting in, apart from the ultimate right now. Oh, she's so close! She was so close! But there was no way that she could go in like that. And yeah, they're going to try to counteract right now. They're going to try to do a little bit of damage, take those kills, and waste time. But man, that was unfortunate right there.
Yeah, actually, it stunk for Toot Toot, but it was a really heads-up play, in my opinion, from Otham on this Inara. He had the slow field in the way without that Warder's field down there. She lives, and now Toot Toot again, caught out by heads-up play from Chroma Space. They're controlling this left side, and they're going to pick off the members of Celestial one by one.
Can push it further, and they can push it down right now because Moldamba is going to be a little bit out of position right there. No, not a lot of life there. Good with the ultimate. That's good. They're going to reposition pretty easily. Inara with that wall blocking off that Moldamba. Moldamba is not in a good position right now, but he's going to get away with it. I don't know how. Mamma mia, that was incredible from them.
Yeah, he barely slips away. I thought the Dread Serpent would have had to connect for him to survive, but they peel him off. They have enough people collapse to save him, and that's one of the benefits of Damba, right? I mean, I'll take a look at his build really quickly just to show you. He has 20% damage reduction literally all the time. Because, as long as he's healing. All right, when's your support not healing? You're always getting the benefit from that, and Close are getting the benefit of that evil mojo, finding the first pick.
Indeed, and we just saw that extreme pickle right there, but he's able to escape right now. The kills, though, are coming from Chroma Space. Not much time left, so that's going to be 50 seconds for them. And as we know, coming from that again, Double Pulse is a little bit hard onto the last stretch because there was sweet spot. It's like super close. So you need to take those kills first, but also you need to secure the payload. It's not super easy to be crazy in and out. And honestly, they have the damage to do that.
Yeah, it is tough with the respawn circles. The trades have to all be on the side of the attacking team, and already a tough look for that with how aggressive Otev is on the middle of the backline.
Indeed, right now, as we see, you know, we see right now double timing from Eevee, taking a couple of kills right now. She can go against the ROM, she can go against, of course, enemy team all by herself. There's no way to push her back, basically. And yeah, it's gonna be a 3-1 for Celestial with a nice combat right there. Pretty strong defense.
Yeah, a great defense, I think, from them with how aggressive they're able to be. They're going to deny that retouch as well. So I think the pick is paying off for them. I feel like they just maybe need to time the evil mojos a little bit better. I don't feel like they're getting the maximum value they would have off of them otherwise. Definitely a tough for them to be able to like collapse on the push completely. You saw when he used it last time, right? Just to try to kill Ovim stuck in that one little area, but Pip's out damaging Nepo on the other team. He's up there with the top 3 damagers on the roster of Celestial, and I think that's more than enough value on an off support as well. We can see not a ton of healing for his team. Most of that's going to himself, but still the slow utility, the ultimate utility. If they can make good on that a little bit more, I think we could see Celestial maybe run away with this round.
Indeed, my man. We're gonna see what's gonna happen once again. As you can see from Celestial and Chroma, also has a lot of resources going on right now, and willing to use them and to cap the point and make it quick and make it fast onto the court. I'm actually doing a little bit of a stun right there, but there's no kill onto the Victor. It's gonna just flip away. Not cardio Victor, of course, but he's gonna be running fast.
Yeah, he got away for now, but just temporary. They need to contest this point, though. I mean, they're letting Ovim finally leave, so they're going to get some cap time early as Ovim tries to find just one trade. But he's the last one left in the dominoes that will fall, and Celestial now will go for their zone. I don't know how Chroma's going to get in. In my eyes, this is already all relying on Coriel, so we'll take a look at him. It's got to be his run, and he has to avoid the Pip on the way. That Evil Mojo hits him, he's not going to make it in. And look, they're already crippling him with that Ice Storm.
Yeah, he's completely blocked off by Eevee, and even if he gets there, they have basically Pip ultimate right now. As you can see, he's gonna pop it off. They did not take a kill. That's pretty huge for Chroma Space right now. I don't know what's gonna happen because right now they're picking it fast and they're picking it pretty easily. They got a couple of kills. Chroma right now, so much reliant onto the Zin to play and do a little bit of damage. Rama actually onto the point. He has super anchor right now onto the other side. We don't have an Ashe ultimate to basically hold down. And yeah, it's going to be for Chroma Space. And they're going to go with 3. Really huge from them.
Yeah, I loved the way that they ended that fight, I think, with Ovim surviving, knew that was going to come, so they had tanks approach from 2 different angles, so the Evil Mojo could not completely deny the attempt at a retouch here, and he even lived through it, so decent for them, but Otev super aggressive. Finds that first one here and let Celestial settle for their defense.
Indeed, that first one is going to unlock so many plays, because right now they're all backed up, you know, they need to regroup, they need to actually do a little bit of flank right there onto the left side. Not going to be huge because, of course, they just lost the ROM. But yeah, I still cannot believe that Celestial lost that one because they didn't basically capitalize onto the Pip ultimate. It's going to be easy for them to defend, that's right, but the point was lost. And that's huge for Trump.
Yeah, it was. I think that was just more heads-up play from Chroma though, because they kind of put them in a gambit they couldn't really turn around. Look at this from Closar though. I mean, they can't get any kills on these chickens. I keep thinking they're gonna work, and then they just whiff one shot, and it all falls apart.
I don't think people are ready for the Pip meta. Like the conversation was too hard to handle because, of course, you're super reliant on that ultimate and that follow-up. And if it doesn't come, what do you have to show for it? You have nothing, and right now they're having the time of their life. Chroma Space is going in at it. Easy for them to actually trying to respawn and deflect the entire enemy team onto the defense. So yeah, Celestial, probably they're going to take this one. But then again, you basically use it with a lot of resources. Even the Pip ultimate right now, that was super useful, and you just lost it.
Yeah, luckily for them, they're rushing morale boost, so Closar should charge it back pretty quickly in this defense. Otev kind of opening the door to help them hold this as Coriel just knows he has to go down, gonna die to the spawn door damage. I think one of the smarter ways to make that happen, and Chroma now only 30 seconds to make this next push work. And if I'm them, I mean, when you see a 3 on the enemy team's score line, unless you're about to win the game, you're not spending ultimates for a push like this, especially with the card only halfway there. You have to play it safe, or else when you get to the fight that really matters, you're not going to be able to actually win the game.
Also, you don't want to give away credits just for free. You want to put a
Yeah.
little bit of a fight. And right now, as I can see, Ultim is like doing the heavy lifting for his team right now. Yeah, I just wonder what's gonna happen on to the next round because these teams right now are basically doing the same thing. Like they're really pretty well balanced, especially onto the Zen and ED part. So flanks are doing their damage, doing control. They're trying to do their best. Yeah, situation doesn't look right also for Roma right now.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to be able to turn this around, so they're holding on to all the resources that they can after they lose Ovim there as well. But that's some credits they gave up. Sometimes when you know a fight's unwinnable, I mean, how's an Inara going to really turn that around at that point? Sometimes you just have your Inara bail, walk away. Don't give them any more credits. Don't give them any more ultimate charge, but Selestial already had everything strong, and the only one lacking it here, Koriel and Sensovsky, really going to want those as we get more into this fight. I want to take a look at, see anyone's build is unique. We see some different stuff with Ashe, and we're seeing Toot leaning a little bit more into Vanguard plus raw cooldown on the shoulder bash. I'm personally not a fan of Vanguard, but I know a lot of people like it. So, definitely good for a aggressive composition, which they can have with Otev, Klosar, and all of them, and we'll see how far that'll take them in. A lot of master riding for Toot, and he can just go right in with his ultimate and maybe turn this fight early.
See what's going to happen right now. And the Victor are coming in, but the kills are not. So, yeah, actually, full-on sweeper and reversal a new pick. And, yeah, Ash is going to push hard. Going to try to do a little bit of safety and control onto that backline, but she's completely alone, and they're going to pick her up pretty easily after the ultimate, and she tries to get away. Action comes back in for the kill. She saw the opportunity, and she's going to chase it down.
Oh, what a follow-up by their Klosar. He collapses on the two of them, and it's just Ovim left, but he's just buying as much time as he can for now. I love that bait by Tutu, though. He tricked us. I mean, we were like, yeah, he's about to leave, and then he just deletes Koriel from the game with that shoulder bash. But ChromaSpace have a way to get back in, maybe, but Koriel, he might have taken too much damage at the start of this fight and wasted his run to make that work.
Indeed, he still has the ultimate, though. He just tries to pass in and maybe make the play. Because right now, it's going to be 72% for the team. They jump in right now. Watch out. He's going to go with the ultimate. He's ready right now. That's a crazy stun. There's no follow-up, though. They are away from the point, and ChromaSpace is going to pick that flag and push it through. Because right now, maybe 90%, the wall is still up. Evie touching the point for success, and, just going to go back and forward, back and forward. Right now, Evie tries to do as much damage as possible. Takes the kill. I think that's pretty much set for, so that's serious port.
Yeah, that's them. You have to, when you're holding a point in overtime, you have to look for an Eevee. You can't just let the Eevee blink in and out for free. She is one of the most crucial pieces of that overtime gaining a little bit there. So I think really hard for them to really stop that Eevee, but they had to at least be looking for her to not let OFTIF do that and let that wall keep ChromaSpace in that game potentially. But we can look at the stats and see how things were exactly at the end of it. Look at all that damage that Klosar did, by the way, on this pip. Really surprising one there for him. 111,000 on his side. Damage only really Nepo kind of screaming to the top on the other side. More utility for the rest of ChromaSpace, but it got them close, just couldn't get them all the way.
Indeed, that's super unfortunate. Once again, I think this was a little bit more close game, of course, and Closer did not work as well as we thought, though. We were expecting a lot of things for him. I mean, the kills are there, like, don't get me wrong, but we were expecting more focus onto his ultimate, and those quick, shots onto those chickens, but that didn't happen. And Otev did the heavy lifting once again. We saw him blink left and right, destroy that backline from time and time again. And I think that really put the weight through onto the entire team fight.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Otev was just really hard for them to lock down. I mean, he did great last game. Pick him it again, right? I mean, it's what worked for them, having that, I think, having both of those, having both the picks both times. He has been really impactful at just collapsing on the team and really following up on anything they've wanted to do. I'm going to say really quick, guys, we're going to take a quick break, figure out some technical stuff that was going on during that game. Don't go anywhere, though. We will be right back with more Paladins.
We're back once again onto the PPC. My name is Merlo, with me Kresnik, and we took a little bit of a break. That's fine. We're ready to go for the next, games or game. I don't know. Anything can happen right now.
True.
The situation was super close, onto this second map on Jaguar Falls, but anything can change. The right composition, the right map, they can wildly, and drastically change the whole flow of games in and out of rounds. So, Kresnik, you think something will change for Chroma Space right now, or is it going to be a clean 3-0?
I think it can change because they're going to, a different style of map, which they hadn't done so far in this set. They're taking us to Splitstone Quarry, which I think is different enough. They can, as long as they get or deny that EV from Celestial, which is, because this is a map where it can be really, really strong and dominant. Get that away from them. Don't let them rely on OTEV on this EV. Force them to be more flexible and maybe play off of that. And we'll see as we go into pick and ban exactly what Chroma wants to do. They still maintain their first pick here, but in my eyes, they really need to look a little bit more towards Celestial and a little bit less at themselves, and just maybe target them a little bit harder.
As we know, of course, Splitstone Quarry, incredible map, so much verticality, lots of open area, and lots of open space. We have two tiny houses, considered the high ground, where you can basically put your Victor, your Canessa, your snipers, and you can play pretty much how you want. You can go, with tanks on point and go full anchor. Fernando is a pretty good pick. You can go full snipers. You can go for flanks. Meve also is incredible on this map. And as we can see, when I say snipers, Strix is going to be the second ban from ChromaSpace. Corvus is gone, basically. Androxus and Rockets consistently banned from Celestial. They don't want to play against them. And what's going to be the first pick from ChromaSpace, I wonder? It's going to be Janus. That's pretty good, pretty huge, of course. You now unlock the possibility for Celestial to pick Victor. I was wondering if it was going to be Victor or Vivian. It's going to be Victor. That's huge. And, of course, Inara as an anchor and point tank, constantly, just standing there, doing walls, dashing in and out a little bit onto the fidget spinner side, right side. What do you think is going to happen right now for ChromaSpace?
I think ChromaSpace, with the support that they have right now, they need to either go for a second support if they want to amplify that Genos, or they can maybe just go for some crazy damage dealers, right? Take away the rest of the good backlines, but they'll go for the Grover. I like Genos Grover. I think it's a great combination. I know some teams in NA really tend to rely on it and enjoy that CC combined with that extra healing, and they'll take an EV too, so they take it away from Celestial, and now Celestial have to look somewhere else for a mobile flanker on a map where I feel mobile flankers are very powerful. Celestial, though, they grab the Damba instead. They have that little bit of pocket heal. It's great paired with that Inara, as we know, and then they also get the Maeve, so that's their answer to saying, hey, we need verticality. We want someone who can trade well into your EV, who can use Midnight and get really aggressive, and someone who can just go into the back line a little bit freer than a lot of the other characters.
And now they're basically going to force that Cassie peek onto the ChromaSpace side. And the other interesting thing, and of course, you have Eevee. You don't want to play against her, but you're not going to ban her. You prefer to ban Strix. Okay, we're going to take her. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's fine, because you don't want to take Cassie onto your side to counteract Maeve. And now Maeve is so much powerful that Midnight, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be huge in teamfight. She can basically, snipe from a distance. She can close in and, finish up that kill. With Victor onto the other side, you can basically rush in, guns blazing. It's going to be important. And you have Buck. It's sort of a, counteract against Maeve itself, because, of course, you can go in and out. You can try to get her on a close range and do tons of damage with that shotgun. And also you have Rom, which has been consistent, in the last game. So you think it's going to be a 3-0, or you think they're going to pick it back up onto this Splitstone Quarry?
I think Chroma have a solid draft, and I think they can turn it around. Celestial, their DPSs are very strong, though, and it's going to come down, I think, to how much this Buck and Eevee can do. They've taken kind of a skill matchup as we head into game to take a look at how they want to be playing this. Like I said, it's a skill matchup, right? So they're going to have to catch people alone. They're going to have to win those duels against them. We're going to have to see plenty of headshots coming out of Ovim to make this work. I got to say, though, weirdest thing I see on this team right now, Nepo Grover? not really something you normally see. He's their sniper, he's their Vivian, their Victor player, and they just tossed him on Grover for this one, saying, hey man, you're a great DPS. We need some heals. If you could do that for us, that would be awesome. Thank you very much.
Great, man.
Yeah, that would be great if you could do that going into this fight.
Indeed. So let's see what's gonna happen. Once again, the first blood will determine the pressure on both teams. So right now, Eevee having a little bit of a trouble against me. He's trying to snipe against that Shaolin, and still damage is not coming through on both parts. Nara, a little bit of a stretch right there. He's gonna get shut down pretty easily. Rom going back and forth right there. He has tons of focus. And it's going to be the first blood for Genos against the Neve, and that's going to be huge. As you can see, the difference really starts to be notable, because of course you don't have the possibility to play a Eevee, you're going to go with Neve, so it's a little bit different to adjust 2 straight rounds in a row to a different kind of flank.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely hard to readapt, especially when it's so different. But I think Chroma are doing an okay job keeping pressure on and not giving them a chance to readapt. I said headshots have to come in, and Ovim's found it. Nepo, not normally on support, but still manages to find the follow-up.
Indeed, and right now the follow-up is going to go with Eevee. They have the kills, they have the control, they have the 54% going on. And I think that's going to be a wrap, because they don't really have the possibility to just jump onto that point. Inara is super slow right now. He's going to take huge damage to just, get onto the point. Uses an ultimate. There's no follow-up right there. They're going to have a little bit of a problem. Genos pulling her up, and the kills are going to go through easily.
Yes, ChromaSpace managed to take it away in front of them with the kills they had, with the aggression from the flanks on the backside. 3 kills now coming in, but just clean up for ChromaSpace as they finish off those last couple kills. You saw that the DPS is turning back. Slopodopoulos and the Shaolin Closar both had to go and look behind them to see what was happening with those flankers, and it let them run away with it. And Adium, so much pressure with this Ice Storm.
You have so many possibilities with this buck, because you basically can take a little bit of damage because you're so tanky, heal right back up, and Eevee takes the place. Eevee just goes back, finish up those kills. She has the mobility, she has the possibility to blink in and out, and we're seeing that the buck is doing, the most of the damage, the majority of damage, most of the heavy lifting, and Eevee just comes as a cleanup crew.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to play Buck. I like how close they're holding him here. The headshots at medium range for a flanker doing 1,000 is quite a bit of them going on, but Coriel can't live that long in front of a Victor. All 3 DPS target him, and it looks like that might stall out this push that ChromaSpace wanted to go with, but Nepo seems to want to hold on, but he can't stay here for long.
Indeed. Look, though, at the timer. Right now, they have huge amounts of time to just get back, get those kills, and try to do a very clean push right there. It's going to go chase against the Buck. The Buck is well gone, and he's going to be able to get right back up in a matter of seconds. Yeah, they have resources. They have ultimates available. They can try to go, from mines and try to get a couple of snipes right there. We're just going to wait and witness.
Yeah, look at this pressure right now from Ovim too. He's getting onto them, and they're actually using the whirlwind to keep him up. This is great aggression from the flanks.
That's incredible. He heals right back up fully. Eevee again, just picks it right back up. And onto the other side, there's nobody contesting the payload, basically. They're going to have a really, really bad time. This is not a good look right now for the ending team. ChromaSpace just leading the way and paving this super hard push.
Yeah, Chroma, I mentioned it was going to have to be a skill matchup, and Chroma are coming out the door saying, hey, listen, I don't know if you guys couldn't tell, but we do know how to play Paladins. I'm not sure if it was necessarily something we weren't sure about, but we're making it work. Adium is dominant on this Eevee right now, 8-1. Very hard for them to take down. No one on the team could really do it. It kind of falls to Closar, but it's still, he has to catch them with a sand trap and then have the perfect timing on the ending shot there. A quick note on this Shaolin build, though, when I have a moment to talk about it. Run Like the Wind is not a card I've been seeing lately, but I'm noticing it on a lot more Shaws lately, running it instead of Wanderlust or Poise. Having that burst of speed instead of the consistent speed can help, maybe, and some people seem to be relying on it a little bit more than what we are used to seeing.
You're basically trading the possibility of, as you said before, constant speed versus going in and out as you please. And I think if you're trying to run from an Eevee, that could be used again. Also, Buck, like, he's just chasing you down, so you need to go and act fast and get out there quickly. So right now, I think that could work, and yeah, let's see what's gonna happen to Shaolin. Right now, inconsistent plays from him. Like, he takes the kill, he finds those pots, you know, but he's not able to survive that long because again, it's a Shaolin. Is very, very fragile, not super mobile, you know, if you're basically trapping in a building like what happened before. But yes, Celestial right now, comeback super hard for them. Nice snipe right there, nice CC. There's no time for Eevee to jump in and actually take that point and do a little bit of contesting. So right now, pretty clean for Celestial. They just need to find the swagger. They just need to find the right point of action and a couple of kills to unlock the situation.
So unfortunate there by them. Eevee blinking and getting caught on the wall. Couldn't make it in time, had to use the sword and ended up running straight into it. But aggression coming in from them right now on the other side. Coriel wants to engage, but a good peel from Slop. Can't live through Adium. Maybe, no, Adium does get it eventually, and Chroma's going to keep up the pressure.
Indeed. Going a little bit deeper onto that end. Right now, Eevee trying to replicate what happened 2 matches in a row. It's going to be a little bit different because she's not quite as aggressive. But she's still making those kills. She's still taking tons of pressure onto the enemy team. She doesn't find a kill right now, but of course, they're interchangeable. Of course, you have the back from the back line ready to go in, bless some action. Look at those kills right now. This is going to be hard for Selestial. They probably are going to give up onto this push and try to, you know, regroup and reconsider for the next action and use all those ultimates for them.
Yeah, we'll see if they're willing to spend in to get out, but they might not need to with this early damage onto Coriel, but Coriel might just trade his life to find his early pick on Slop.
Indeed, right now they're gonna go in, they're gonna go aggressive. Victor takes the kill onto the other side. Shaolin is gonna help him push a little bit. Oh, that's a third one. Oh, they're picking up fast. But onto the other side, Buck just does crazy amount of damage. As you can see right now, gonna bounce onto the enemy healer. Maldamba is a little bit of a pickle, a little bit of trouble. Right now, left and right and front. Look at those footsies going off. And he's safe, basically. Training that Buck. Oh man, that was a little bit too hard on Buck to actually get in. Of course, she had an Inara. That was super hard and annoying to actually get out from.
I mean, Xenos broke Ovim's ankles there, basically, juking back and forth there. What neutral from him. And Chroma on this defense, they're collapsing on them again. They find more room, but they're not going fast enough after that Otev pick. Otev will be back in time, and finally Ovim strikes.
Oh, they just got the Buck, though. They might have a chance. They might have a possibility, because there's Grover right there. They can try to take a kill at least, but nope. Eevee is going to clean up pretty easily right now. Here comes the second one. And they're ready to go for the third match. That's going to be huge. That's going to be interesting because right now we never saw Chroma Space having much of a chance in terms of team fights and of course in terms of using a flank at their advantage. But right now they're like completely different. It seems to see I'm seeing like a completely different team.
I think it has to do with their draft. It's a totally different style of gameplay that they're bringing out here, but it's double flanker, but still kind of focused on sustain, I guess, when you look at it, because it's definitely not focused on damage when you see the charts here. All of them being out damaged by the members on the other side coming from Celestial. Definitely so much damage being done by them, but the healing is pretty solid. 60,000. Friend Simsovsky with, what, 46,500 from Nepo, a lot being spread throughout the team, and it's constant too, so it's kind of tough for any poke that Celestial does to really stick. But now that we're in the cauterized 3 territory, this is when Celestial might be feeling a little more comfortable in these engagements. They're going to be burning through the whirlwinds coming from Nepo. They're going to be getting through Buck's sustain, and a lot of things that ChromaSpace are relying on is going to be a little bit more fragile.
Indeed, and also, of course, right now Celestial, they have the Midnight ready to pop in. They're ready to go in. That's the first kill that Victor is going to take. We didn't see that much, you know, swinging from that ultimate onto Neve. Like, Midnight was not so prominent, not so heavy focus as we thought before, but it's actually working pretty well right now to take those first kills. So it's going to be 58%, and if we're going to try to push it down, and if they take that Eevee, they're going to be ready to go for, you know, the second push. And Eevee's going to get shut down pretty easily right now. There's no kill coming up through. Overtime is going to go on, 99%. Is there a way for Grover or the others to jump onto that point? I don't know, but it seems like it, because right now Rom is right there doing damage, taking names. Everybody's gonna get shot down pretty easily right now, especially onto the right and left side. Yeah, those side lanes are pretty dangerous, but yeah, it's the second push that is gonna come up for Celestial Esports, and very few resources that has been used.
Yeah, they managed to, I think, hold it off pretty well. I like how they focused the Eevee specifically on that defense, and oh, okay. I guess Ovim's dead now. I mean, he didn't think so. He just probably realized himself how quickly he went from full to done trying to engage. That's so hard for Chroma specifically. They really needed that, and they're just getting bled out one by one by this poke.
Indeed, one by one they're gonna fall down because, of course, they're playing basically 1-1. They're not regrouping. They're basically going out the respawn and just serving themselves onto the amounts of damage that are coming through Celestial Esports. Because right now it's gonna be the last stretch. It's 1 minute and 45. It's gonna be plenty of time to actually, pull this thing through. In our full heal right now, Mogamba is not gonna be faced by anything, and they still have a midnight into their pocket.
Yeah, they can use it, but I don't know if I would, again, with the enemy team potentially able to win, especially when Coriel's the first pick in the fight.
Indeed. No. I don't think they're going to use it, but they still have the possibility to. And also, look at those kills right now. Completely different Celestial. It's going to be a free. And yeah, that's going to be the match point.
Yeah, no matter who wins this, it's going to be the end of Splitstone Quarry. A lot of ultimates up for Celestial. What was spent by Chroma? Not very much. They're going to get most of them pretty fast, but they're going to need to have these flankers actually land on something. I think there was a lot going on to slow them down lately, and they're not getting in the same way. Even with the single source of damage reduction, I think it kind of falters a bit as the game goes late. Some other bucks we're seeing running the heroic lead, the momentum damage reduction card from the leap and the deep breath damage reduction card. Ovim's leaning a lot harder into recovery, and that makes you fall off way more now that Cauterize 3 is online from basically every single member on the side of Celestial. So we'll watch Ovim and see how he wants to engage in this first fight.
We saw him before basically healing full back on after a single fight, but now he's not going to be able to do that. But they're going to find the first kill onto the Eevee. Buck is still having a little bit problems against that Shaolin. Eevee right now popping up that midnight. We're going to see Rom is the next one to go, and I think Celestial right now picked up the slack. And they're gonna win this match pretty easily. I don't know, that's completely different. They basically regrouped and respawned, and they said, okay, this is gonna be different. Like, we need to change some things. And as you can see, that Victor is gonna be super aggressive right now. Eevee does not have the possibility to block or contest the point, and that's gonna be an easy match point right there. They're not touching the point, They're disrespected a little bit. And Celestial Esports takes a clean-o, Frio after this set. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, definitely tough for Chroma after they started up, but I just want to clarify that actually wasn't disrespect. That was a really heads-up play by them. If someone touches the point, it's not a guaranteed overtime. It starts like a 5 or 6 second timer that will trigger overtime. So they got off the point, waited for that invisible overtime to run out, and then touched it. If they had stayed on it, it would have been way longer with the overtime kind of counting down. So I think just heads up play by Toot Toot saying, hey, they're not going to touch. If I stay on this point, then they actually can. So we'll deny that chance completely from them, and we'll take a look at the stats here from that game. Again, damage so low across the board for Chroma Space. Surprising when you have a Luminary Genos on their side, but Celestial just kind of ran away with it when you look at it from the stats side. Otev, Klosar, and Slopodopoulos, even Toot Toot, all at 80k plus.
Pretty huge damage right there. I don't know, man. Like, I was expecting a completely different fight right there, but as you said before, I think Buck basically just fell off right, onto the middle of the match. Because, of course, those cauterizes, everybody just built it. Of course, you're gonna build cauterize inside Paladins. It's like one-on-one. He was not having it. Like, he did not have the possibility to basically restore at full health, and that showed. But also, I think Edium, basically that Eevee, so uncontested before, got shut down so much easily right now onto the second to last game, and they have like a more focused funnel. But also, a thing that I think that basically got them onto a complete loss is that basically at one point they were going one after the other outside of respawn onto the third push. So one by one, they got picked off multiple times. They just lost it. I don't know why. They completely lost focus and the ball, and they were going at it, and they were getting shot by Victor, by all the others, and they basically just tossed the match point at that point.
Yeah, the stagger and deaths, I think, really hurt them near the end. And I just want to clarify, you mentioned Adium kind of getting shut down. The level that he got shut down was kind of crazy. I mean, he was 8-1, just to remind everyone, after that first round where they ended up going up 2-0. He ended the game 12-10, so we went 4-9 from that point on with pretty low assists as well. So great adaptation by Celestial, definitely proving that they are a team that is improving and constantly getting better every single day. But that's all we have for Europe. On this side, we're going to go to a quick break, and on the other side of the break, Brazil. Parallax versus Tempest. Stick around. We'll be right back.